tired of knitting scarves and hats? Why not branch out and use your knitting skills to make something different? Make something unique, like a fortune cookie. This tutorial assumes you already know how to cast on, bind off, and do the knit stitch. However, no additional knitting skills are needed. You will need a small amount of worsted or medium weight yarn in a tan or light yellow color, small size needles, US size 2 or size 3, scissors, a tapestry needle, which is a large blunt needle, and a small slip of ribbon or paper for the fortune. First, you need to cast on 10 stitches onto the smallest needles you are comfortable with. US size 2 or size 3 works best. This will produce a denser material that will hold its shape well. You can use any cast-on method that you would like. Now, you will begin a series of short rows. Short rows are when you don't knit all the way to the end of the row, but stop and turn your work and then start knitting again. To start off, you will knit 2 stitches, leaving 8 stitches unworked on the left-hand needle. Unworked meaning you did not knit them. Next, turn your work as you would if you had finished the row and knit those 2 stitches back to the end. Now, this time at the beginning of our row, we will knit 4 stitches, 2 more stitches than we did last time. And again, we will stop, leaving stitches unworked on the left-hand needle, turn, and knit back to the end of the row. Knit all 10 stitches, and then stop and turn my work. Do not knit the first stitch. Instead, slip the stitch. Slipping means to transfer a stitch from one needle to another without knitting it. So I'll take it from one needle to the next without knitting it. Continue to knit the rest of the 9 stitches on the needle. You have just completed one segment. You will see that it looks a bit like a triangle or a wedge shape. Repeat from the beginning to make 14 of these wedges to complete an entire circle. When you finish the circle, bind off all stitches. Use your tails, the extra yarn from casting on or binding off, to sew the bind off edge to the cast on edge, and this completes the circle. The next step is to fold the circle in half. Again, using the tail, sew a seam on the outside edge, leaving a gap on either end for the fortune to come out. Weave your yarn up to the starting point for the seam so you don't have to use a new piece of yarn. To avoid any puckering, knot it off along the way. Sew the seam and stop, leaving the same size gap on the end, and knot off this yarn and weave in the end to hide it. You will use your last tail to sew the fortune cookie together. Leave the tail so it comes out midway between the center circle and the edge. Insert your index fingers into each end. Bend the fortune cookie so the ends come together. It should take on a fortune cookie shape. Remove your fingers, but hold the cookie together. Use your tail to tack, meaning small stitches sewn in one place to hold things together, the 2 sides together. Just a few stitches in the middle to hold the 2 sides together. Again, you will knot the yarn off and weave in the end. The final step is to write a fortune on a piece of paper or a bit of ribbon. Insert it into the cookie. And now, no more boring scarves.